Hi guys, you are listening to the Cattlestrength podcast. If you enjoy this show, don't forget to give it a share. Okay folks, here we are, episode 18. We are joined today with a man with the Welshest name I've ever heard of, Daniel John Morgan.
Morgan. Shemai.
Shemai?
Ti siarad Cymraeg?
No.
DJM.
That was awkward. Oh, DJM.
DJM.
DJ Morgan's in the house.
Dan, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for asking me.
I followed you for a while and I enjoy the content that you put out. And to be fair, always shares the show, Katie.
Yeah, do you know, a lot of people repost podcast stuff and they always tag Cattlestrength. You're the only one that tags me as well, which is nice. So I feel like I'm a super fan.
I was just thinking to reach, I was. The more you were talking about it.
Oh, this is starting well. This is starting so well.
Oh, Dan, how was the trip down?
Interesting.
Why was
It's
it?
rural as fuck, innit?
Do you think?
I don't come down this neck of the woods, and I just thought you got a lot more house for your money down here, but there's nothing for miles.
Where'd you live?
Port Talbot.
By the factories.
Yeah, not
How's
far.
the lungs?
As good as it'll be.
Where in Port Talbot?
Do you know the Abraham ground?
Yeah, that's played
Across
there
the
many-
road from the main club pub.
Oh,
Back
yeah.
down there, literally front door lined up with it, like.
Played there many of times.
Yeah.
It's played for Neath. Neath Aberafon, big derby. Boxing
Yeah.
Day?
They're both shit at the minute, don't they?
Yeah.
Because you're not there anymore.
Neath was shit back then when I was playing for them.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought Neath were tidy for years, and then
Yeah, then I signed. That's when the
all downhill after you joined.
decline started then. Literally, that was what happened.
It's a nightmare for parking on match day, brother. That's quiet.
Lived in Margam.
Where in Margam?
It's the posh side of Port Talbot, that is.
Baglan's posh of the Margam.
Yeah.
Where,
Baglin?
yeah, Baglan's like up on a hill.
Sounds like a terrible name.
Where in
Baglin.
Margam were you?
I can't even remember. I was only there for 6 months. The Neath manager at the time, Phil, proper crook. Shout out to Phil. He sorted
Phil.
me out. Yeah, he was like, I'll give you a house down here, but and tell you what, you can live here, and we'll pay you like your rent. Then could be your wage for playing for Neath.
Are you trying to do someone like his accent?
It's as close as you get.
You sound very Caribbean.
Oh, thanks, Phil. I was only like 19 at the time, really naive. And about 6 weeks in, he was like, right, what's your email address? I need to send the invoice over for the rent. So he's tried charge me rent then on top of not being paid to play rugby. And then we fell out. And then a few things came out about it. I'm not sure if he's in jail now.
What's his name? Phil?
Phil.
Phil, you prick.
I genuinely can't remember. You go back years now. I was 19 then. So if I was 19 then, okay, how many years ago was that?
20.
15 years ago.
You're right. 15 years ago.
I'm the maths person here.
Count down like.
No, I'm not at all.
We like to start the podcast off, Dan, with like either a question of the day or a fact of the day. We like to find something out about the guest that, not many people know.
Do you know what I reckon? I reckon Dan is our biggest fan. He always shares it. Maybe we should let him lead the pod.
Yeah.
Because he knows exactly how it works. Doesn't he?
I do know the full format. It's pretty
All
good.
of our plans that we have.
I think we throw a spanner in the works today.
Why?
Dan, give us a space fact.
A space.
Love a space fact.
Yeah, me.
Fucking hell. It's a bit dark. Oh,
Well, it is dark as
take
me.
this from Brian Cox. A sugar cubed sized piece of a white dwarf.
A sugar
Cubed sized piece of a white dwarf, so a collapsing sun, weighs more than the physical mass of Mount Everest.
Fuck, I did think.
Incredible.
Even Dave's clapping. Did you just make that up?
No,
Yeah.
it was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
We were on about it earlier.
If you say something with enough confidence, everyone believes you.
Yeah.
Like, that could be complete
That
bullshit.
could be bullshit, but Brian Cox said it, so I'm going to take it off him.
God, the way you recited that.
Yeah, it's a touch of special needs, like, I think. I'm a bit fucking... I love facts and figures, it's just one of those things.
I love the fact that he had no idea that we were going to ask him that question. And he just put that out of the bag.
I've been driving for an hour and a half, mate. I've been thinking about things that I might need to say.
What about space?
No, about anything.
If you'd have asked me that, I'd have been like, did you know that when you go up in a spacecraft, you float? That's what I'd have said. That was really impressive. Christ, Daniel.
Do you know how many planets there are?
What?
Do you know how many planets there are?
In a
9.
solar system or the observable universe?
Oh my God, you're going to go, what's that thing? We go on Mastermind.
No.
Is that your specialist subject?
No.
What about us? Horses,
Yeah, you're an equine girl, aren't you?
I'm an equine girl.
Pony
I
club.
don't know, you know.
Welsh cobs.
No.
Section A's.
Section E like that, do you?
A farmer told me a while ago that all horse women are mental.
Fact.
That was his, rule.
No comment. You have to ask my husband. Where's Dave like?
Dave's pissing himself in the corner there.
Dave, don't wet yourself. So anyway, how did you come up with
Hang on, hang on,
EPT?
two seconds.
We're going back to
Dave, what would be your subject?
Horses.
Sorry, get my tear.
How did you come up with EPT then?
I used to work with a business partner and we used to PT together. We used to work in a gym together, so I would do evening PT. No, morning PT, he would do the evening PT, and then we'd do the opposite shifts. And we hated, like, this might offend some people, but I hated, like, Dan Morgan PT. Like, I think they fucking have some invention.
Yeah,
like,
no, I...
we came up with efficient, achievable training, and then you got the Venn diagram of, like, education, food, and training to give you a holistic approach to long-term look after yourself.
God, this is intense.
Dan's a clever bloke.
Mine's just called Gym Pony.
Yeah, but it relates to your brand.
Yeah,
Like, I know too many people who just call themselves maybe their name. And
Yeah, because I could have been KPE.
You need to think about it a bit more.
KPE
And I wanted to be a
fitness.
bit different, like, so...
Yeah. EPT's got a nice ring to it, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't patented it or nothing. People can steal that, technically.
Nah, you should put a patent on that.
Yeah.
I've had a few people over the years come up to me and they're like, oh, I'm thinking of starting a gym, I'm going to name it this. And it's like, Rhys Evans Fitness. Or
Yeah.
Rhys Jones Health and Fitness. I'm like, oh, that's probably like long term. I don't think it's a good idea. Because how many people are going to wear a t-shirt with Rhys Evans?
fair.
Do you mean it's nice to
Yeah,
have
I
something
know.
that you
You
can...
do get some mind. Some people love it. There's a couple of PTs down in Batolba, then their clients love the t-shirt, like.
I'm going to
All the
offend...
names on them and that.
Yeah, I'm probably going to offend Rhys Evans now. But,
Anyway,
yeah.
moving on.
I digress.
So, yeah.
How did you get into the fitness industry?
That's a long one. I thought PE in school was for people who couldn't read and write. So I didn't do anything with fitness all the way through school, weren't interested. And then I think about 16, 17, I started getting into fitness, into training to get your heart broken to new, and then every bloke starts lifting weights. And then I applied to go to the military, got turned down. And then I had to wait 2 years, so I went and did my BE Tech in sport.
Why'd you get turned down and be in the military?
Hmm?
Why'd you get turned down and be in the military?
First time I got turned down.
First?
Yeah, wait, it's a good story. So I got turned down for headaches the first time.
Oh, okay.
Which was mental. They were like, oh, you've got to be 2 years without symptoms. So I had 2 years out. My mother made me go and do a sports course. I really didn't want to, so I went and did it. Then I joined the Paras, did the shorter stint in Cattlestrength, known to man, did 12 days and thought, for 20 grand, this is fucking bollocks. So sacked off that, luckily got hold of my old lecturer and got onto a degree course. Did a sports coaching degree in Uniglam.
Oh, that's where I went.
Do you?
Yeah, actually, clever boys got there.
Did Jeffers teach you?
Ian Jeffries, yeah. Good lad.
That honestly, it was worth 3 years a shit course to have Ian Jeffries, like, shout out to him. He's probably the best lecturer I've ever had.
Yeah.
Coached all over the world, China, Turkey, everywhere, but decided to stay in Uniglam. So
Clean off, innit?
He's an Ebervale boy, I think, isn't he?
He's one of literally genuinely one of the best strength coaches, or in academia anyway, in the world.
Academia?
And he teaches in Glam, which is quite cool.
But he's also a personality. Like, you don't get many people that are that clever that can actually pull you in and want you to listen to him.
Yeah.
And he was brilliant. And then my father said to me, right, I'll either fund you to do your masters or do PT. And I thought, I've seen loads of boys, like, you're obviously in the background a bit more, but unless you're like a semi-pro, or you've played good level rugby, or you've been in sports, you ain't getting any of those S&C jobs. You're just not getting a look in. It's all kind of like nepotism. So I did my PT and then managed to get into a gym, and then I managed a gym for, well, I was an instructor for a while, then I managed for about 5 years, and on the side I built my brand along it. And then COVID came and I built my own studio, and I called it a day in the gym 2 years ago. Just slowly. I was lucky the owner of the gym allowed me to phase my hours down, allowed me to work less, to allow me to build my brand, and then I got to a place where I could leave.
Good lad. What's his name?
James Taylor.
Big shout out, James
Yeah.
Taylor. If you're listening,
I couldn't have done it without him
please
and Mark
remember.
Watkins. They gave me a platform to boost my base from. And you see a lot of PTs come in probably that start from nothing. It's so hard to get any sort of traction when you start. You've got to have that second income from somewhere.
Yeah.
And then just build from there then. And
It's good to have certain people in your life on the way on your journey that help you, and if it wasn't for those people, you
100%.
probably wouldn't get where you were. Same with everyone. I can relate.
yeah,
to.
nobody gets anywhere on their own. Like with the unit I said I built, my father lent me 10 grand on top of the 10 that I had. Without that, I'd be 3-4 years behind where I am. So you're only as lucky as the social circle you got around you. And I got no thing in admitting I had help to get it started, because I don't think anybody gets it on their own, do they?
No.
I think it pays to be tidy though, doesn't it? If you're a good person, I think karma's practical in a way. Well, if you what's that religious saying? Do as you want doing and no, but you know what I mean. If
Treat
you're
people
treat
as you
others
want
as-
to be treated.
Yeah.
Treat others
yeah,
as you
and
want.
then you're like, please.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, but you never get it back, do you? Just don't expect it back.
You do.
I'd say on the
Sometimes.
whole, you do sometimes.
Yeah.
But I just think a lot of people, not just in the fitness industry, but in general, they're on the take, and a lot of people. They want to help you to get something back in return, or they want more help than you can give them. It's
Oh fuck! I've had a bad week in that sense.
Staffing,
you
or-
know. Well, no, like, I won't name any names.
Staffing.
staffing.
No, that staff's brilliant. You've got good
we've
staff.
got
Not a
good
bad
staff,
word about
yeah.
the staff, are we?
Yeah. Yeah. And we're not
Even-
staff anyway, we're self-employed.
Even Katie's
technically,
alright.
I could go now.
I could leave
I'm
when they
off.
want.
I'm on my free will.
But yeah, I don't know if I should mention this or not. We can edit it out if I change my mind. Anyway, can we die? Okay, but why are you doing that, Fizz?
Nothing. You crack
But
on.
we've got like a school comp today, and when you turn
Yeah,
up, all
yeah,
those
yeah, there's
we had like
loads in
80,
there, yeah.
84 school kids. So it's basically like the CrossFit Open for schools. They've all been doing CrossFit in the schools for the last 6 weeks. They've had a big grant to do CrossFit in schools, and at the end of that 6 week block, then they come into Cattlestrength and they're going to do like a little tournament as a well done, basically. So it's a council thing, but we're just hosting it in Cattlestrength. We wrote the workouts and we realised we were short on one bike erg, right? So I thought, I'll message a few local gyms now to see if they'd be willing to borrow a bike erg. You'd be amazed that, well, the first two gyms said no.
Or just out outside no.
No, just because they didn't want to support another genuine. I'm not going to name them, but
No, that's good.
is, if you-
That you can keep that in now. that
With
we've
the
not
kids
named
as
them.
well. Like,
Yeah.
the kids aren't going to join the gym for
Year
a couple of
nine-
years.
year
They're not going to
nine
come and do
kids.
it. Like,
clean off.
You
And
just,
I couldn't get my head.
kids.
I genuinely can't get my head around it. It blows my
but then
mind.
that shows the insecurity of other gyms that they're worried about you doing well. I would take that as a positive, that they don't want you
Yeah.
to be successful because they're too afraid. Whereas if they weren't bothered, they'd be like, oh,
That's
healthy
just
competition
such a-
grows, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, how many PTs have you got in the gym? Was it 4 or 5 of you?
How many?
Don't even know the staffing numbers. Do you gym manager by any chance?
No, I'm the gym manager.
Before that, four.
Joking.
Yeah, but like none of the
Me-
PTs slag each other off, do they?
No,
You're not
it's not.
undercutting each other with prices.
We're a
Oh
family.
no.
If you're
Yeah,
good at what
no.
you do, people will
No.
pay you for your time.
And we support each
Yeah.
other. Like if
Yeah.
one person like shows a transformation picture or something, like all the
Yeah.
others will share it.
Like
'cause
if anyone asks me for diet, like as in like nutrition, I'm like, just go to Alice. That's
well, everyone's
not,
got their strengths,
Like
innit?
I literally, I would say me and Rhys both eat quite similar. Whereas Alice is very like regimented. She's very knowledgeable on.
She's just done precision
Yeah.
nutrition, she.
Yeah.
Good course, huh?
Yeah.
It's changed a lot since I did it, but she's going to do the level 2 and stuff. Do you know she's jumping onto that?
I don't
Sure.
know.
Yeah, I need to ask her. She's
Because she's a youngster, she. How old is she?
28?
yeah, she's quite young, is she?
28?
Well,
27?
I thought
28?
she was younger than that.
No.
Oh, fair play, she's diving into it then.
But back to like karma being practical, like like if those particular gym owners would then ask me for a favour, like the chance of that happening then is less. Probably would. They
Yeah,
ask-
you've got to rise above it then, and you.
But
Yeah.
clean up. So anyway, shout out to West Coast Fitness. Messaged them 2 days ago, and I was like, oh, sorry, is there any chance I can borrow a bike? And he's like, yeah, 100%, mate. I'd love to help. So yeah, big thanks, Ollie from West Coast Fitness for
Yeah.
that.
Really nice.
Good egg.
Yeah,
Not
it's nice that some people will help you out. 'Cause
Yeah.
Not everyone will, unfortunately.
clean up. It blew my mind, to be honest with you. And it's like people that you wouldn't expect as well.
I would have thought someone like this with a smaller community base as well. You'd all look after each
Yeah.
other.
I'm going to get a row with my wife now for mentioning this in the podcast. Katie's like, don't say anything, because I wanted to post on
Bit of
social media.
controversy.
He was
Can
gonna
stir
do
it
it. He
up.
was gonna do a story rant, and I said no, and Kate said no.
I love
so-
a rant on social media. I was
Yeah.
going to do it, but Kate's like, look, Rhys, it's childish. It says more about you than the other
Yeah.
person. Grow up. And I was like, okay. So it's nice to have
Yeah,
people.
you could start a tit for tat war then,
Yeah.
couldn't
How are you finding social media then?
you? Hate it. It's just hard work. I don't know how people do it.
It is.
You've got to
like
do
a-
it to grow the brand because I think
Yeah.
it is integral to everyone. Like obviously I've seen you've been doing quite a bit, didn't you? But it's hard work, like putting reels together, thinking of ideas. You've got to plan it to get some sort
Yeah.
of rhyme or reason to why you're posting things. My other half tells me you can't post the same content after each other. You've got to put like interspeed things. So
I
your
think-
so your grid looks different. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I'm just having a go, like, and it does work to get more followers and stuff. But then,
Yeah.
does that always translate into making more money? I don't know.
No.
No, but I will say, like, you know, when you people reshare a lot of stuff, I would say I do get the odd one client. Do you know, or someone?
But then, if you survey it, but most of your clients come from word of mouth. Like
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
put a price on word of mouth. Like
Oh,
the amount
no.
of I'd say
No.
95% of my client base have all come through word of mouth, and that's even my online guys, because I might have picked one up that then told somebody else, and then they don't question, they just come to you. Whereas you've got to, with the online stuff, you've got to build trust, you've got to build brand, you've got to want them to buy into your brand.
Yeah. Oh, so you do online as well?
Yeah, I do a bit of online.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I must have about 10 now.
Gops. That's why Gops is doing his training. Is he still with you?
No, I haven't been with you for a couple of years. I trained Gops in lockdown and just after.
Oh, he was online with you?
Yeah. Well, did he do any one-to-one with me? No, all online. He lived the street away from me at the time, but he did online.
Oh, so you guys are pals?
Yeah, I know him because he moved down because his partner's a Pasolwood girl. And then he was training in the gym where I was. And then he put me onto you guys maybe 10 years ago.
Karma, being practical again. Tidy people.
Yeah, because I think you had a cattle shed, didn't you, not so long ago? Like, how long have you been in here for?
Since September. 6 months?
6 months.
7 months.
How long did the build take?
Too long. I can't even remember. It felt like 10 years. How long did it take? You probably know better than me.
We opened September.
A year and a half?
Yeah, maybe about that long.
Because it's a big old
It did
project,
seem a long time.
Yeah, we were hoping to open a year before we actually opened, I'd say.
How long did you plan it before you opened it? So, like, was it like a 3-year process by the time you opened everything?
Yeah, easy. By the time we were like talking about what to do and like what direction we want to take the future and things like that, it was a long old journey.
Grand.
But then looking back, yeah, I wouldn't want to go through it again. Some people have asked me.
I take my hat off too. Like, obviously I've run a gym and now I got my own small unit. My clients like, oh, would you ever get into bigger? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
After running a gym and seeing like what owners go through and like how hard it is to keep a gym running and to keep your brand up, and then by the time you get somewhere good, you've got to rejuvenate your kit, you've got to spend it again.
Yeah.
Electric rates, gas rates.
Yeah, I've had a massive
stress.
wake-up call to that side of it, I'll be honest. Because like, in my head, I didn't think it was going to be as intense.
I don't think anybody does. I think the owners of the old gym I worked at, they didn't realise what they were in like a franchise agreement. So they had help to start up, but it was all like brown envelopes. You got to buy from certain companies. You got to buy this. You got to buy that. And then they were taking something like 10% of their turnover every month. So the more money you made, the more money they took.
They lost.
So you were never. And then by the time you then get hit by a VAT bill.
Sorry.
Nah. The big thing for me, like my main motivation was just like build something for the future that my kids can one day have. Like that still is the main motivation for me. People ask me like, "Oh, are you gonna open another gym or are you gonna?" No, like,
no.
It's
because I suppose you could franchise it, couldn't you, and set up like a
yeah,
banner,
but then I wouldn't want to.
I think that would take away from like what Cattlestrength is if you started franchising it.
I agree with you
because it's very like. I don't think the word's organic, but do you know what I mean?
I think you're right. Organic. It's authentic. You've built in. I think the fitness industry at the minute, I see a lot of it. People are too busy chasing more and more and more and not being content with where they are. Like, you don't need huge sums of money to still live a content and comfortable life. And, like, you can reach that without overworking yourself and, like, overcommitting. Because I can imagine, like, if I built something like this, I'd be shitting my pants paying the bills every month.
Oh, you should have seen me, 6 months ago?
Oh, the first week here was hell. And did we have podcasts here? Was it the first
Did we?
week?
Yeah, it was the first week.
Did you do like mass sign-ups here, or was it all online sign-ups? Or?
Nah, I didn't really know what we did. It wasn't very well planned out. We didn't really have a...
Just go for it, like.
Yeah, we just like had a big open day.
We had the open day.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people, we had like QR codes and a lot of people signed up that day, didn't they? But there were a lot of people that were already members.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a waiting list of people that wanted to join that couldn't fit in the
because we didn't have enough
gym.
slots in the old gym.
But regardless of that, you know, like, say, I think I had like 150 members in the old gym and, you know, a waiting list of a few people who wanted to join. Even still, though, with the new gym, you're really worried people aren't going to like it. It is different. The vibe will be different. The space is bigger. It's not for everyone again because it's changed. So there's a huge worry that, you know, this might fail and, you know, like you might be sleeping under a bridge and not have any food to provide your kids anymore and all that. So
it's a massive gamble.
That's a huge worry.
It looks amazing, though, to be fair. What you've done is...
Thank you.
I couldn't think of what you could have done it better with the space you've got. And I think you're attacking the right markets with the High Rocks and CrossFit lot. Like, that's blowing up a bit at the minute. Well, maybe not so much.
Are you
CrossFit.
into either then, or...?
Absolutely not.
Neither?
Adult PE. I think when both are done well, like CrossFit when it's coached well is brilliant. But I think the standard of CrossFit coaching was terrible when I was seeing it before. And I think, I don't know if you follow Ido Portale, he talked a lot about, like, he's the movement coach. He did a bit with Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He does a good
Is that
interview.
his name?
Yeah, he's an Israeli guy. He talks a lot about there's good coaches and poor coaches, and CrossFit brought Olympic lifting, gymnastics massively into the forefront. But the level of coach you get, same as the level of PTs you get. Like, on the whole, there's no regulation. It's terribly manned at the best of times. CrossFit, when it's done badly, gives like the stupid stories about Rhabdo. You would have heard them years ago. Rhabdo myelitis, people just being battered into the ground. But then you get very, very good coaches that can turn out a good product. But then CrossFit's taken an hammering since that boy died last year, isn't it?
Yeah, massive hammering.
Massive.
I think
they don't know about selling it up, aren't they?
No,
Oh,
it's...
I hope not. 'Cause
No,
I
it's
No,
not.
it'll stay as CrossFit, but they're on about somebody else buying it because
No,
I think
that
they-
is happening. Yeah, that is happening. So I actually spoke to Dan Chaffee. Shout out Dan Chaffee if you listen to the podcast. Give us, he's very high up in the CrossFit world, and he was doing a talk with me in Bath on Wednesday. And basically, it's for sale. It's for sale for a lot cheaper than it was.
Yeah, his stock was massive not long ago, wasn't it?
The price has dropped a huge amount since what's happened in the last 2 years, obviously. So they've got 4 buyers. I think it was like a couple of buyers that are like talking about, and they're just in talks now, and they're gonna decide and go from there.
It's a massive PR crisis, that lad. Like, how they didn't spot that happening. But that's crippled them as a business.
Massively. Yeah.
Whereas High Rock seems to be flying at the minute. Be interesting how they're going to scale that in time, though. When will people start getting bored? Because I like how simple it is. I do think it's brilliant for getting mass participation. Because when you think like Olympic lifting, this is going to be controversial. I would argue 90% of people have no business Olympic lifting. I know a lot of people that want to Olympic lift, but if they can't overhead squat, you've got no real chance of doing most of the lifts. And then you've got to then go really back to basics. Unless Olympic lifting is their main goal, you're going to spend a lot of time doing something. Let's say if they want fat loss or just want to get generally stronger, there's a lot of things you could use instead.
Yeah.
It depends on the goal, doesn't it?
100%.
I think that's...
Because I think the thing with CrossFit for me that I find so good is you can never stop learning. As in, like once you get to one bit, you're like, okay, I've accomplished this. Now the next thing. So say like kip and pull-ups. Next thing now, chest to bars. Do you know? Then I'm going to go on to... So I feel like...
Yeah, there's plenty of development there. I don't disagree with that. And I think when done properly, like coached properly, it's a brilliant mode. I just think people go ham into it, blow things off. Like,
I think it's because people expect a lot more than what they actually can achieve at the start.
Oh, yeah.
And they think, people think, kip and pull-ups are easy, for example. And then they hang on the bar, and they're on the bar for 10 seconds shaking like it, and they've got no chance to pull a up. And does that make sense?
Yeah, and if the skill is to do kip and pull-ups, then it's a great skill. But if you're looking for muscular development or you want to improve your physique, in my opinion, it's not the greatest application of time. But and I think, like you talk about with the main gym here, is group cohesion, group dynamics, and people massively love that, whether I like it or not. Group PT and the class base really builds and brings people together, and if you can get that hive going, you'll be laughing long term. Yeah,
and I think I completely agree with you, to be honest, but I think it's all relevant to goals. I see CrossFit more as a sport. Like, it's a sport, that's going to improve your quality of life, if that makes sense, and it's all about work capacity across broad times and modal domains and all that jazz. But there's a definitely quicker way to get certain results, 100%.
100%, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it depends what you want from it. Like, I think what you're saying there, if it gives somebody a broad range, they enjoy learning, like you were saying, all the different aspects. Do what you want to do. And like, the more I've trained people and the longer I've trained people, it's less about what I want them to achieve, and you've got to really buy into what they want to achieve and what they enjoy doing, and getting somebody to do CrossFit 3 times a week if they really enjoy it, versus me trying to get them to do static strength work that they don't really enjoy and they don't turn up for half the sessions. CrossFit wins every time, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah.
I get that. Like, I used to coach classes years ago, like circuits, used to drive me insane. I'm not a big fan of them. But if I've got clients now that want 2 sessions and 2 classes, I'll program them because they're going to go to those more than they're going to go to the gym on their own. And I think they're a great base to learn from as well.
And the reality is, you can get incredible results doing really simple programming. Like, you can get someone who just trains body weight, but he follows a bodyweight training plan and does that well over a course of consecutive time. He can get incredible results just without any equipment, fancy gyms. Even
consistency and discipline matters more than anything.
Yeah. In the same way, if someone really enjoys CrossFit, he can also get incredible results. Like the games showcases that. But it's all what you enjoy and what you stick to consistently over time, isn't it?
100%. Yeah. Long-term adherence is what really gets results for clients. It's getting them to stick to it, but that's a different story altogether, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a battle.
It's finding what works for you. Yeah. We get people come in the gym all the time, like any other CrossFit gym, and they turn up, and it might just be a box jump. Like, we're going to do box jumps today, and we're going to do pull-ups. like we'll scale it, but that scares people sometimes. And I'm going to go back to my circuits and the ledge hunter, and that's fine. Like if it's not for you, like you shouldn't be forced to do it.
100%, yeah.
But then you get those people then who are like apprehensive of jumping in a box. They get it, and it's life changing. Then they realize that they can do this, and that leads on to something else. So it's all relevant.
Building confidence and building trust. And I think that's probably the hardest thing from PT and coaching standpoint is getting somebody to trust you. And sometimes you've got to give them results first, and they'll buy into other things you want to do, like rehab work or whatever.
And that comes down to being a good coach then, doesn't it?
Yeah. Like
you get a shit coach in any walk of life, and that can put you off that sport and you'll judge a sport based off the coach you've had.
You've probably had a year as well. Like I've had clients come from other coaches or other backgrounds where they've had a really bad experience. You've got to then rebuild from the start. And if they've had like they've been ripped off or they didn't get the results they wanted, like you got to figure out if it's them or the coach then as well. But like if you can figure out like they've just been ripped off or it's been poor programming, you've got to then start fresh. And that's like unlearning a skill. You've got to take it all the way back and get people to basics and get them to trust you before you can get anywhere further.
I had a client before that pulled her back in another place, deadlifting. And I think she said she was deadlifting 90 kilos. I'm like, oh, God, okay. And then we were doing deadlifts a couple of weeks ago. And really light stuff, like just building up. And her form with 30 kilos was
questionable.
It was horrendous. Like it was very dangerous form. And that was with 30 kilos. And I thought, like, well, if you're going to progress to 90, your back's going to snap.
Yeah.
So you should identify as a coach, look, your form is wrong. We need to critique that, fix that, cue, and correct, and then build weight.
But that's what it comes down to. Like you get so many, like in general, people rush in fat loss or people rush in PBs on the bar just because it looks good on their Instagram. Yeah. They don't care what happens to their client. Some people, and I think unfortunately that's what we have to deal with in the industry a lot of the time is poor coaching. I don't know if
of course, I think it's any walk of life. I think if you,
I think you're not.
You're going to get bad teachers, you're going to get bad police officers, you're going to get
bad I'm sure we've all had bad tradesmen.
Yeah. Any stories?
Tradesman wise.
Yeah.
I had a boy I was in school with that was doing really good bathrooms, and I thought I'll pay him to do mine. He did like half the job, disappeared, couldn't get hold of him. He apparently didn't tell anyone he had a massive cocaine problem. Had spent loads of his friends as well, done like 10 of us over, spent all the deposits on dust. And then, we he came to the end where my other
he's spent it all on dust.
all gone. Like we had to then get him in. Like my other half had to pretty much blackmail him on Facebook and say, if you don't give us the money back, we put it all over Facebook, and then got it back. But that took 4 months, 5 months.
I bet there was riots.
Katie's brothers were. Let's go back a few years. They were like,
not my brother.
Yeah, sorry, Katie, my wife.
Because my brother's in the military, so don't talk about dust.
Yeah,
with him.
Katie Lampeter, my wife. The brothers were doing a house up in Lampeter a few years back, and they had a painter in, and the painter was painting around the kitchen, and he was doing like around the worktops and stuff, and he painted around a plant pot. So it's like genuine, honest to God, truth. Didn't even move the plant pot. Just fucking
do not notice that.
Me.
Genuine.
Tickled
he was a friend as well. Like this made it worse.
Are we gonna shout him out?
Yeah, Deej.
Nice one, Deej.
Did he get much work after that one, or what?
I don't know what he does now.
That's terrible.
I don't think he listens to the podcast, but Deej, if you're listening, give us a review.
Give us a quote on
We'll give you a review on your plant pot skills. Fucking hell.
We've had like 30 reviews now, I think, is a day. 29 of them 5-star. We've had one 1-star review. So whoever that is, if you're listening, please.
Do they leave names on the reviews? No. You can do anonymous reviews, can you?
Yeah, some leave names and some don't.
Yeah.
So bypass that.
You could ask him anything then. Or are we just going to chat?
I'm going to ask Dan something.
Yeah. Dan.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on TRT then, Dan?
Oh no, what's your thoughts on Manjara?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Enough, I'm reading Lyle McDonald's book about that now.
McDonald's?
Lyle McDonald. Do you follow Lyle? Yeah, Lyle's been an original gangster for years and he's class.
Because, you know, what did you call it? TRT? I didn't even know that was what. Just
testosterone replacement
therapy. Right.
No, it's not.
That's slightly different. Okay. Not quite, but yeah.
But, you know, if like someone was on steroids, all that, right? Like a guy.
Are we talking about steroids or TRT?
I don't know.
They're very different. So TRT is like a natural level. You just perform. You'd be a like a high-end
Can you
version of
tell
yourself.
I'm really naive to drugs? Then?
Testosterone,
No.
you are putting crazy performance numbers up.
Okay, so steroids then is you're growing.
Yeah, we're talking anabolic
Okay,
steroids.
Yeah,
Why did I
right.
know this was
So
gonna come?
steroids now and Manjaro/Ozempic is essentially exactly the same
No,
thing.
not even slightly.
No. What I'm saying is that if you're a guy wanting to grow muscle or if you're a girl wanting to get skinny, they are exactly the same thing. Does that make sense?
I would argue there's not a huge difference,
As
in
in-
the application to what the
As
goals
in, what I'm
are.
saying is
Yeah.
a girl wants to get skinny. She injects herself with.
Manjaro is not illegal in any sporting organisations as far as I'm aware.
But
so
if
you
you're
could
a
use
guy, okay, we're not talking about like professional athletes.
Oh,
I'm
right, yeah,
talking
yeah.
about like a generic civilian that walks in through the doors of the gym. Yeah.
I don't think
if
there'll
you're-
ever be a ban though. Like steroids as in anabolics are.
Yeah.
It's a
What I'm
class
saying-
C, B or C? I don't
You can
know.
have it, but you can't sell it.
It's definitely illegal.
Is it?
Yeah, you can have them, but you can't sell them.
But what I
which
mean-
is
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I don't know how you get them
You
there.
could buy Manjaro from Asda, but what I'm saying is that you're still getting this. You're still trying to get the same goal as in the boy or the girl. The boy wants to go muscle. He's cheating the system by injecting. The girl
Yeah,
wants
but
to
a guy could take Manjaro and a girl
course
could.
he
There
could.
are
Yeah.
people now talking about running the two together. So
What?
you then increase protein synthesis with the anabolics, and then you decrease your appetite with the GLP-1 that suppresses the stomach. So in theory, you're getting that double action, and if you can feed enough protein, it'd be ridiculous.
You revised before this, didn't you? I can tell.
I've been reading GLP books now. It's an interesting debate, to be honest, and my opinion has changed quite a bit recently.
What's your
Is it?
opinion? I'm intrigued. I didn't even know what Manjaro was until a week ago. I'll be completely honest with you. I'd heard of Ozempic. I have no experience with any member or client speaking to me about it yet. It's quite.
It'll come. It's not
I
quite
know-
down here yet.
no,
It's
I know-
massive down by us, and it's getting bigger.
I know three people on Manjaro. Yeah.
Manjaro's the dual action, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know a lot of people on Ozempic, but I'm talking no one around here. I'm talking about horse people. A
Yeah,
lot of horse people, like middle-aged women.
Oh, yeah.
They want to lose weight quickly. Jab up, off they go.
So like any drug, it's application. So like before I started reading, so I'm going to just shout out Larry McDonald's book. This is where all my information is coming from for this. He's kind of compiled all the evidence on it and kind of given like a bit of a varied... Because everybody's either anti it or for it at the minute, where there is always a midline.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
If you use these drugs with a life... The data's shown, if you use these drugs with a lifestyle change, so changing your dietary habits, eating, like I think it says, up to 2.5 grams protein per kilo, so it's higher than normal
You're a lot
standards because
higher,
you're
yeah.
down. And then resistance training, all the negative effects that have come along with the lean body mass losses are pretty much negated. So what they're saying is if you use this drug to lose a lot of body weight quickly, but you also change your lifestyle habits and resistance train, it just accelerates that process with minimal side effects. You will get some side effects depending on, a lot of people report nausea, constipation.
Yeah, my friend went
There's
on
a few different things that
Ozempic
come
and
along.
she was like so sick.
Yeah, some people react really badly, so you
So
get
sick.
hyper responders, and the drugs are only getting more powerful. There's one due to be approved, I think, in 2027 called retatrutide. I can't think of the proper name.
Well, we believe you.
It's a 3 action. So Ozempic is a GLP agonist, Manjaro is a GLP agonist and a GIP agonist, and then when the retatrutide is coming along is going to be a GLP, a GIP, and a glucagon inhibitor. So they think it can even raise basal metabolic rate slightly. So
Wow.
in an order of strength, Ozempic they reckon creates 500 to 800 calorie deficit a day. They're saying Manjaro is between 800 to 1100 calorie deficit, and they're saying in theory retatrutide could create up to 1350 calorie deficit a day,
shut up. That's
which
like-
is then becoming lower end of gastric and bariatric surgery.
Yeah.
But these drugs, 10 years ago, a guy who used to speak to when he was part of the franchise, really clued up guy, said 10 years ago, if they invent a tablet where you don't have to train anymore, people will stop training. And I thought he was talking shit. 10 years later, I genuinely believe that's going to happen in the next 15 years.
That's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, but for me, training, yeah, okay, I like trying to make sure that I feel like I'm in good shape. But training for me is all mental. I train in a group of people because it brings me joy.
A lot of people
Do you know
just
what I
train to
mean?
lose weight.
Yeah, to use an argument for you then, you are now surrounded by people who train all the time.
Yeah.
So you see yourself as part of this community. What you don't realise is, so as a stat from 2012, only 9% of the UK have a gym membership.
Yeah.
So like we're in such a minority of that we enjoy training. You can't force people to enjoy
No.
training, and a lot of people, they're not interested. They just want to take a drug that's going to control their body weight. And I think if we use these drugs to combat the massive obesity epidemic that is here now, I don't like to admit this, but it'll take massive strain off the NHS.
Yeah.
People will live longer. The benefits are there, like, unfortunately.
I agree that some of these things are vital for people that are way past the ability to come and train, if that makes sense. So somebody that's like clinically obese, that, you know, they would never want to come and step in a class here. Not because we're horrible or anything like that, but because it's so intimidating for some people. Or they physically can't because they're, you know, not able to, as in they can't move. Does that make sense? I think for people like that, it's great. What I disagree with is like people in their early 20s that are actually, say, a size 8 to 10, small, quite healthy, and they're jabbing up because they're too lazy to control what they put in their mouth. And I know it sounds a bit offensive.
I'm with you on it. I don't disagree.
But that's how I feel about them. I think it's dangerous.
Like, it probably is to some extent. And there are showing some sides where people are getting, like, I think it's gallstones they're showing. The
problem is you're... I might be completely wrong, but are you not playing around with your insulin levels?
It helps control insulin, but the GLP is a drug that controls gastric emptying. So more than essence, they tried years ago with, let me get this right around, leptin and ghrelin. They're like your hunger hormones. They tried injecting leptin at the time to control hunger, but it never had the same effect as an injectable that systemic leptin would. They seem to have moved on to GLP now, which is a gastric emptying hormone. So if they put GLP into your system, your stomach doesn't empty. So in theory, you're full for 3 days with food you ate 3 days ago instead of passing it. So that then sends a signal into like a feedback loop to go, well, you don't need to eat. And that's why you end up eating so little food.
So you don't go to the toilet?
You will, but not as much as you would before.
That's quite unhealthy, is it?
I'd argue, like, again, controversial probably to anyone that is pro these drugs, but I'd argue it can't be good for you long term.
No, that's what I'm saying.
The problem is there's no long-term research, so I get where you're coming from.
It's like the COVID jab. No long-term research, see?
Let's not discuss that.
No, but do you know what I'm saying? It's like
I get it, but like, I think the absence of evidence doesn't mean there isn't evidence. So you've got to wait until it comes out to really make any judgments. So we are 15, 20 years off that. But for like the people we're dealing with day to day that don't really need to lose all the weight, I completely agree with you. It doesn't really need to be used. But 20 years down the line, if somebody's 120 kilos and they could have used those drugs 20 years ago, I would say it is definitely going to stop them being diabetic. It's going to stop cardiovascular disease. It's going to stop loads of other things and probably would kill them early.
And it's going to save the NHS a lot of money.
100%. It's going to save so much money to the NHS.
But then, like, I've got someone that is online with me. Within 6 months, she came off her blood pressure tablets because she did it naturally. And then I got someone else that's been jabbing up with Manjaro and then told me how they're really happy because they're off their blood pressure tablets, but she's only on it because she's giving herself something else. Does that make sense? So
unfortunately, free wills and like, man, you can't control it. Like, I 100% get where you're coming from, but like, I'm for safe use. Like, I'm not pro or anti it, but if somebody's going to use it, if I can advise them, what I would agree to use is the safest way to do it, and you can wean them off it long term, it's better to try that. Because if you just go to her, come off Ozempic, she's going to go, fuck it, we'll go somewhere else. Whereas if you try and get her to a point where she's happy and then go, oh, should we try and get off these drugs?
Yeah.
You might have more success that way.
And if you're making better lifestyle choices while taking the drugs,
that's what it really matters.
That's where your role as a coach can come in, isn't it?
The person that's on the Manjaro, I don't coach.
Oh, you don't?
No.
I got a lad on Ozempic now and a girl that's on Ozempic, and it does make it easier. But the irony with one of the guys I coach is he actually eats the calories that I gave him before. And he's losing weight, and he clearly was overspilling. But like he said to me, I was being greedy. I was just lying to you. And he's honest about it. And he's like, to be fair, he's a good lad. But he said, I know that was something I couldn't control. And I think, I'm not weighing in to give people a reason, but I do think some people naturally have considerably higher hunger hormones than others. And I do think that hunger drive is much harder to control. If you'd asked me that 5 years ago, I would have said, not a chance. But this research is coming out now and says, like, there's a reason some people seem to be considerably overweight. Like,
I remember probably about 9 years ago, starting off as a coach, doing one-to-one PT, small group PT. I remember working with a woman who was like having a real tough time with menopause, and she was asking me for advice, and I put my hand up. I was like, you know what, I'm not clued up enough about this. So like one of the first things I did that week was just like educate myself. So all the podcasts I was listening to back then, I got some books, etc., and just learned about menopause and how it affects you with nutrition and diet and things like that, and everything inside and out. So I can actually give good advice, which I'm quite comfortable to speak to now with any of my clients who are going through menopause or premenopause, etc., perimenopause. But with this, I don't feel educated enough. I need to, like you're doing now, which is really
if
quite
like,
cool to
Lyle's
see.
book is only 20 quid, the one he's just released now. I thought it was going to be 3 or 4 times the price because of his books are normally taking 3 or 4 years to write. Like, have you read his female fat loss?
Nah.
That's about 70 quid, but that's well worth a read, especially if you deal with a lot of female clients. It taught me that women have got it a lot harder than us.
Oh,
But
thank you.
Caveat.
We like caveat.
90% of that is psychological. 90% of it is like
the
when they're
eye rolls,
on cycle and they blow fluid, if you can control them and get them to understand, get them something to if you get females to
If you
understand.
get them to control, if you could control the woman, tell her what to do.
No one's
If
ever
you
going to
can
be able
get
to
to
control a woman.
If you get them to understand when they blow it on cycle, it's just water, it will pass, and if you fight those cravings, they'll come down the other end. And I've got graph after graph of females I've trained that I send to my clients to go, look, here are the peaks where your cycle are. It's a downward trend. As long as you can keep people from binging cycle week, because, you know, rule of thumb people do, they then set themselves back 2 weeks ago to start fresh. And by the time you get them back to the weight they were before, they're back into cycle week. It starts the process again. The only one that I think he talks about all the menstrual cycle drugs, the progesterone-only jab is the only one he says that really drives hunger hormones, and that's the one that can really play havoc with women. But that's an older generation. I think they've phased that out now.
Yeah.
You're very knowledgeable. He knows more
think
about
it's
the
just
trying
cycle.
to read
He
a
knows
little
more
bit.
about the cycle than I do.
But it's a good message to send to any coaches who listen. You know, like these are the things that you have to deal with day to day as a coach. Especially, it does sound, I think, in your area, I would say it's more prevalent than where we
Oh,
are.
yeah.
What's that? Ozempic?
Yeah.
It'll come here. It's just like I think it's
Yeah.
bigger in Swansea than it is in
Yeah,
Talbot.
because
then
We've
it'll
only
come down
just had
here in time.
iPhones up here.
It's
You probably
because
just
it's
got Domino's, haven't you?
We've got Wi-Fi now.
we don't have Domino's.
Fibre optics
Amazon,
are not
Amazon Prime come up here, genuine.
Yes.
I was driving up and I was like, fuck me, there's nothing here.
There's no
I was waiting for my
excited.
sat nav to cut off.
there's no
And just smoke
there's,
signals to pull me in. Like,
there's no Uber Eats.
There is
in
There's not much
Aberystwyth.
Uber Eats in Talbot, mind. There's nothing.
I haven't got
There's-
fibre optic.
What?
I
I bet
haven't.
you got that solar one. Musk's
Oh, my
one.
Starlink.
mum, my
Starlink.
mum's,
That's
my,
what actually got
That's what
that,
this
yeah.
gym is.
my mum's got that actually. Mum and dad,
Class.
yeah.
That's what this gym is.
Why do you people live here like it's mental?
Have you seen our coastal path?
You live in Port Talbot.
You want to
much?
try it with us?
You haven't
do
got
60
fucking
miles.
Asda.
Did you know we
I
did?
love your coastal path. Where'd you get your fucking food from?
We catch it. Catch it. That's why we look so lean.
And it's lovely in the summer, but fuck, it's bleak in winter.
Mate, you live in Port Talbot. How can you
Yeah.
say this?
I live in
You can't-
civilization.
You can't even
You
see.
walk up,
You can't even see
smoke
what colour the
everywhere.
sky is, can you? It's constantly grey down there. You drive down
I
that,
take smoke and fibre optic.
that 50-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Lee Taylor, one of my clients, right? Shout out Lee if you're listening. Nantaman, give us a review.
Lee or Lou Lee is like Lou Lee. She's on Instagram if you want to follow her. Lou Lee.
She's bought a brand new Land Rover Defender, proper country car. You know, like a lot of them around here. Anyway, really, really nice one. She's got one of those like emissions. She's got a fancy little computer at the front of the dash, and it like shows the emissions outside and the emissions in the car.
Oh, yeah.
So around here, like it's really clean emissions ish outside,
Yeah.
and then the car obviously is cleaner. Like it filters through then, so you don't get any bad emissions from. She says when she drives through Port Talbot,
Oh, I'm not surprised. It's up there with Chernobyl.
the car just fucking rattles. Like
Steelworks closing down now. Give us 5 years, you'd be all right.
Yeah, it is. Is that affecting the area then?
Yes and no. It's affecting jobs at the minute, and a lot of people that were in there, but I think there's a lot of people that travel quite a way to work there.
Is there? People travel to work there.
It's good money, mind.
Tata Steel.
For you only work 160 days a year, mind. For the best part of 45 grand.
oh, some of the boys who worked with Tata that's been rugby. They all turn
Tata.
up Range Rovers coming in. They used to get like cheap cars and they're
Yeah,
like
they used to
40% off a
get-
Jag.
Mega money off. I can't remember. Some of my mates had like the Evokes and
It's like yeah, Vokes. That's it.
It's not for me, like, but
Are you a car man then?
no.
Oh.
I only bought mine because mine blew up last year and I thought I'd go buy something tidy. I refuse to spend money on cars. I don't know people do it.
Space facts and fitness knowledge. That's what I like.
Yeah. Honestly, your
books.
fitness knowledge. No,
I like
you are.
books. What's your
yeah.
favourite? What's your favourite? 3 favourite? Do you read non-fiction or just fiction? Sorry, do you read?
I read
fiction?
self-help and normally like fitness related, and I read a couple of like autos, but not a lot.
You seem to remember things very easily. Like,
I wouldn't. I tend to read things twice, mind. If I read like a chapter, I go over it again, and I make notes on most stuff. Yeah, I think you've got to if you wanted to go in.
When you take notes, do you literally like post it in the book, or do you?
Oh no, can't be writing on books. That's fucking a crime, man.
No, I
got a little like A5 notepad that I've probably got about 25 of them in the house that I filled over time.
That's cool.
Because I'm left-handed, it's like in hieroglyphics. So
this is where I definitely know I've got ADHD. I could not focus even for half.
But I find writing it helps me focus more. So if I'm reading something like an auto, you can just skim through an auto. Whereas with stuff you actually have to take in, I'll make like bullet points on it, and that keeps me, because I struggle. Whereas if I was reading like an autobiography, I can do like 25, 30 pages an hour. You're lucky to do 5 or 10 pages of something that's actually like
Alex
hard
Amosi.
reading.
Do you know Alex Amosi? Oh, he's like a business.
Is he one of them?
Yeah, one of them. From
10k
America.
month coach.
Yeah, he's one of them. But anyway, I like him.
I think
He recommends when you read a book to listen to the audiobook at the same time. So you literally listening to the book and reading the book at the same time, and you just take it in so much easier.
I'd argue books that are worth reading, you can't have an audiobook.
Yeah.
Because like the ones I would read for like fitness tend to be like textbook or like
Yeah.
stuff. I don't think you can take it in, like the chimp paradox. Have you tried listening to that?
Yeah, because you got the graphs and things in there.
Like, and with the chimp, like I find
literally pictures of the chimp in a computer. And
you've got to like work out what is being said. And I think with that, it's quite systems based. So I have to like take it in, and I read that twice to assimilate it, because it's not an easy book.
That's the first ever non-fiction book I read, I think.
Changed my life, that book.
Years ago. Chris Hoy said it changed his life, didn't he?
I'll be honest, I'm just not a reader.
You need to read
I
that
can't
book.
read.
You've got a
No, if you keep telling yourself you can't read, you won't read.
Katie's got a monkey brain.
Honestly, I am like
Could
a
you snatch the
7-year-old
first time you
child.
picked the bar up?
No.
Then how would you do it in snatch?
Because it's just it's very boring.
It's not.
No.
You're just reading the wrong
So
books.
hear me out. Knowledge is power. The more you know, the more you can charge.
Yeah.
I
Or the more you know,
know,
the
but-
less you actually know.
Yeah, was it the
Yeah. The more you know, the less
more
you
you
know.
think you know, the more you perceive you don't know.
I just
Yeah.
the tension. Sorry, it's the tension.
She reads book Welsh Cobb Section A's.
Yeah.
Like you
Welsh
got to
cobs
pay.
and Section A's are two very different things.
What's that? I know a cob's a horse, you know.
Yeah.
That's about as far as my country knowledge goes.
Well then,
What's your top? We'll go top 5 with you, I think, because I think you've got a big bookshelf at home. What's your top 5 non-fiction book?
Dan Big Bookshelf.
Non-fiction.
They don't have to be in the fitness industry. Anything.
What have I read recently? Chimp Paradox. I think every single person should read. Just stop me fighting.
Di's nodding his head over that.
Dan, Dave.
Dave, sorry.
This is Dan.
Sorry.
Reading that book stopped me fighting Herbalife reps at 6 o'clock in the night when I should have been having my food. It makes you realise you're not winning. You're the only person who's annoyed, and they're all knobs. And you can put that on.
What is this book?
It's mind management. It teaches you to like.
How your brain works, basically, but it
Maybe
kind
I
of
should
simplifies it.
Maybe I should
Your
read
other
it.
half will trigger your chimp, or like your mum will trigger your chimp. People that are really close to you trigger your chimp, and you struggle to control it. Whereas I now try to step back from every conversation and analyse if I'm going to get anything from it, or is it just going to be an argument.
Your chimp brain's reactive, and it doesn't think.
I'm a full-on monkey then.
Yeah.
Atomic Habits is good.
Yeah.
If you haven't read that, that's like
James Clear.
Yeah, that's good. Fitness wise, Eric Helms' Strength Pyramid and Nutrition Pyramids are a really good read and would cover like everything most people would ever need to know about it. And then what's my top? Oh, and the Rodchenkov Affair, if you haven't read it. Have you watched Icarus?
Yeah.
The guy who was in Icarus, that's his book.
Oh, wow.
I read it in a day, I couldn't put it down. Absolutely amazing book. If you haven't read that, for something a bit light reading.
What happened to him in the end?
He's in CIA protection, isn't he?
Wow.
In America, because Putin went after him. Like,
Wow. It's a good documentary, that is.
yeah, big fan of drugs in sport. It's everywhere.
Good topic, innit?
Yeah, it's everywhere, especially CrossFit. Am I liable for that if I say I'm CrossFit?
Mate, it's anyone, I think the naivety with people who say it isn't is...
Well, you played good level rugby.
It's,
He must have been rife when he was playing.
And,
in
yeah.
Neath as well. Like, let's be honest.
I think any level.
Even in horses. Horses get drugged all the time.
Is it illegal to drug horses?
Yes. It's completely against their will. They have no will.
So is it morally or legally against their will?
It's illegal and it's immoral to drug a horse. Like
they give
people in
them
Australia,
equipoise, don't they?
they'll nerve block their feet so that they're not lame.
Wow.
Right.
I didn't know that.
But
remember
Steph was telling me they do that in rugby as well. They'll inject
I
into
remember,
their ankles.
cortisol jabs.
So that they can play on
My
like a
claim to
broken
fame is
ankle.
I trained headbutt a while ago. And
Played rugby with them the other day.
He's a monster, like.
We played a testimonial game in the summer, and he was playing with us, and he's selling rum now. And is it rum?
Yeah,
or-
Yeah,
He's
he's
got
got a
rum.
Mortal Bunny rum, and
Yeah,
he's
I had
got the
it.
front, and that's somewhere.
I had it in
we
my
were drinking
restaurant.
rum in the changing rooms before going out, and half time drinking rum.
He was telling me some of the stuff he did to carry on playing, like the injections in the feet and stuff or whatever, that people
Yeah.
were willing to do to play.
Yeah.
That level of sport, you've got to be a different mindset to want to go out there.
If you want to go and run on a potential broken ankle, but you can now because it's numb, it's a bit hanging in it.
But then that game could make your career, and then
Yeah.
you could end up playing, like, I think he played in the game, then made it into the Lions squad, and he randomly, isn't he? Yeah.
He had about 5 years where he's easily the best hooker in like around. And
He's a
then-
cool guy.
He's a mutant.
And I met
he
him
came
at
to
Royal
me
Welsh,
after
like,
reconstruction, and he was doing a bit of training. I said, we test your maxes. So I put him on a safety back, so obviously his shoulders are ragged. Box squatted 220 for a triple, and he hadn't trained for like 18 months.
Juju.
Just a monster, like. Some people are built different, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I was talking about this with my wife the other day. Like, some people come into the gym and they can just like pick up a barbell and they can actually snatch without literally without any coaching. Like, how have you done that?
You do
So
get something to just take into it, like.
I just tell them like, if anyone asks, I've been coaching you for 5 years and now.
And this has come off now, like, yeah. Because you've seen like the way the Chinese like vet all the schools and stuff.
3
to
years
find
old.
them. It's mental. Like the way they just like they know exactly what standards they're looking for. They get all the kids in the yard and then just narrow them down. And then the last 3, they're like, "Do you want to come to a training camp?
Yeah.
Because your parents will get a nice house if you come." And then ship them off, like.
I know.
But
Even
that's sport, isn't it?
one of our members, his son who's 8 years old, is in the Cardiff City Football Academy. Like, really good player. Like, he's got potential to be elite. And even with him, he's 8 years old. They're looking at how tall his mum and dad is.
Yeah.
They've got an average they work out, and if they're not a certain height, he's probably not gonna like make
Is he
it.
travelling back and forth to Cardiff regularly?
Yeah, like 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and then every game is like Manchester, Birmingham, like
That's mental, that isn't
Man
it?
City.
At 8 as well, mate.
Especially now you've seen the road.
Yeah.
yeah, clean off now.
Yeah.
We don't have sat navs up here either.
Dude, I'm nothing up here. Once you get
We don't have street
Carmarthen's
lights.
like the end of civilization,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, we
and
don't-
then it gets like real rural.
Because
but-
any journey I go on, whether I go south, like if I go away with like shows and stuff, if I go south, once I get to Carmarthen, the journey starts. If I go north, once I get to Welshpool, the journey starts. So you've got like an hour and a half drive before, 2 hours if you're going up north.
my sat nav was like Ammanford or Carmarthen, and I was like, which way do I go? Because I made a cock up a couple of years ago. I came up past Carmarthen and I was going to Newport, is it? Up on the side?
Oh,
Newport. Not Newport.
Newport Pems.
Yeah, Newport Pems.
Oh yeah, the posh.
And I
Newport.
thought, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
the
take.
nice
I thought
Newport.
I'll take a right beer. I know the roads. I'll go through Crummick. Oh my god.
Crummick. I
Took
love
me
it in Crummick.
ages. I was like, where am I going? I thought, this is supposed to be a shortcut. I felt like I was on like dirt tracks.
Dust.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I felt like I was in Yellowstone.
Like I drove for like 20 minutes, saw one farmhouse, and saw nothing for another 40 minutes.
How can you
Never
not
seen-
like that?
So you don't like.
I don't like it.
Sounds
it's
like you don't.
nice if you got nothing else to do in the day.
Oh, I could never live in a city.
No.
I went to Bath.
I don't. Put
Too
Thomas
many
on the city.
people. Oh, it is for
Put Thomas
us.
middle.
Oh, anywhere with traffic, not for me.
Yeah, not for me. Traffic lights. I don't
can
see a
walk
traffic
out of my
light.
house and go to Spa.
Yeah, but you
I
know,
can,
It's
walk
5
up,
minutes
I can
away.
walk on my house and
You
with
haven't got-
a gun, and no one would say anything.
You know,
The
like-
nearest
you know, like-
coffee places.
outside.
Coal Town is the nearest good coffee.
Fuck up.
Ammanford.
Have you had the coffee yet?
I
Yeah.
had your coffee, but that's nice. But it's
Hey,
not
do you know
proper
what?
coffee.
I don't even pass the traffic light on my commute to work. It's bloody lovely.
Or me?
No, me. I got
No,
15,
or-
I got 15 steps down
I
my
don't
garden.
see a roundabout. I don't see a traffic light.
No speed limits.
Oh,
There are
no,
definite
there is.
pros. No, the area's not terrible. It's lovely. And
This area's not terrible.
it's beautiful to look at. I don't know if I'd want to live down there.
Would you not?
It's a bit rural for me. I'm used to having stuff.
Oh, and I'm the opposite.
Yeah, I couldn't live with it. No offense. Lovely place, mine. Couldn't
No,
live there.
I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but it's just you're used to your
Yeah.
shit all.
Because when I go to a city or a town, I'm so glad to come back to rural.
You're used to it, aren't you? Like I'm used to having like some sort of stuff at my fingertips. I think.
Yeah, but you can get
Where's the
practice.
nearest Tesco?
Aberystwyth.
Aberystwyth.
How many miles is that?
17.
There. And 70 miles back.
Yeah.
When you get your groceries dropped in by helicopter, it's probably cheaper.
You could get delivery.
Yeah,
We can
we-
get Asda
What,
delivery.
next month?
No, we can get Asda delivery.
I'd be starving by the time it turns out.
You can get Asda delivery up here. Comes from Llanelli.
Yeah, but getting and how quickly you get are two different things.
My
isn't it?
mother-in-law
Did you say it comes
has-
from Llanelli?
Yeah.
You're single-handedly destroying the environment.
Global warming.
You're all up here on my country air because you're polluting everybody else's air.
Our Tesco in Aberystwyth doesn't even have a petrol station. That's how small our Tesco is compared to yours.
It's lovely to look at. It's not for me.
Right, Dan. On that note, where can people find you?
EatPT on Instagram is probably the easiest way to find me. I'm on Facebook, but I don't use it.
Oh, Facebook's gone shit, isn't it? Hate Facebook. Do you know what keeps happening to me? On my news feed, I look at stuff and then I look at the date and it's like, from the 3rd of January. And if I've liked it, you look like you've stalked someone then, don't you? Oh, I hate that.
Are you sure you're not stalking someone?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I'm not that stupid.
Yeah, Facebook I think has died the death and I'm refusing to go on TikTok. Just because it can take over your life from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Are you on TikTok?
No.
Probably why I don't read any books.
Are you on TikTok all the time?
Of course she is. That's the monkey brain that is.
You just see people losing hours and hours and hours on it.
I'm literally like, and you know if something's like more than a minute long the video, I'm like, next.
One of the teachers I trained
Imagine
said,
me if I was a child. Oh.
Well, they say apparently in 10 years, attention span's gone from 10 minutes to 10 seconds.
It has, literally. I'm that
'Cause it's so easy to get.
That's scary, that.
One of the teachers I trained told me that, said apparently there was like a study done and they're saying like it's gone so bad. But like I was saying, in our days, when you downloaded something, you watched it, because it'd take too long to download something else.
In our days.
Whereas they
How
were
old
just
are
like,
you then?
37.
Oh no, you're not in our days, love.
What
We're
are
a
you
lot
doing?
younger than you. 34.
We're all over the hill. We're all past the
Back in
all
our
downhill
days.
now.
No, my husband's 37, yeah.
Getting on now.
Yeah.
So if anyone's looking for an online coach with a wealth of knowledge, to say the very least, on every subject known to man,
Especially space.
Dan's your man. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Dan.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.